Well,
Hi, Jeff.
welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the annual members meeting. I'm going to turn things over right away to our president, John Dunn. Excuse me.
I think, John, my video needs to be disabled by Jen. All right. Everybody see me? That look all right? During break, I went out to the mailbox and do a bit of birding, and number 3 had arrived. So Dan, your article is in there. I looked at the cover, wondered if it was a yellow-billed magpie, but the color looked a little wrong. Then looked on the inside cover, and there it is. So number 3 is out. I want to thank Jen, of course, for handling all of the difficulties, technical, all done with charm and grace, and apparently little food, replenished slightly yesterday. John, I couldn't be luckier to have you as VP, as the board knows, and for everything you've done. To Steve Rottenborn, another brilliant session handling the science programs, handling the questions, including asking many of his own. I believe I have this right that Steve is retiring. So please give him a virtual thank you or in an email. I thank all of the presenters who have done so much to liven up this our program, many more to come. This is the COVID year. I guess I'll be known as the COVID president. Such is life. I wasn't around in 1918, nor was WFO. And keep in mind, though, hopefully when I retire next year, we'll be in Reno, and it'll be an in-person meeting. We are hopeful, where we will welcome all of our vaccinated members. I want to thank our members in this COVID year for their great generosity and their support, including their financial support, where quite a bit of money came in to the general fund, as well as our 2 other funds for youth scholarship and for publications. I also want to thank our partners, CFO, Colorado Field Ornithologist, and one of our board nominees, Don Marsh, a longtime WFO member, is also on the CFO board, so we'll have a relationship much as we had with WFO board member Larry Modisett. Please also check out Lab or LA Birders. A membership costs just $20, and in this COVID year, they have had many exciting webinars with a lot of information shared. Their website will have a Bell's Sparrow on it. They also have an active youth program, Lab S, of which many of our remaining members of WFO we owe to Lab, and thank them for our members. This comes a time to, it's been a busy year in terms of board members, retiring board members, and other sorts of things that have happened. In the spring, Ed Pandolfino had to step aside from his activities with WFO and elsewhere, though he maintains relationships with tutoring students on their research. In his place, we reached and got Dan Gibson back to the board. Dan is a very long time board member, assistant editor to Western Birds, indispensable for Phil, and is twice a former vice president. So Dan was elected to the board. Retiring from the board are Homer Hansen, Bryce Robinson, and Chris Swarth. Homer, his years on the board, ran our scholarship committee, was instrumental in setting up activities during our actual conferences and assisted with the Zoom meetings during this COVID year. He's been on the board 6 years. Bryce served 3 years, helped immeasurably with redesigning our website, and has donated his illustrations for WFO use. He is currently at Cornell, married, and doing his PhD dissertation, I believe, on red-tailed hawks. If you managed to see Bryce's talk yesterday on illustrating, and hopefully see his other talk, I believe it'll be tomorrow, which was canceled due to, or postponed due to technical difficulties. But his workshop on illustrating was, for me, almost like a sedative. He worked this through in a very relaxed manner. I tried illustrating once when I was 14. I had to help Kimball get off the floor from the hysterics of the effort. So that didn't really encourage me to continue, but I tried with Bryce, and my Flickr effort yesterday is something that at least I'm not totally humiliated by, and I haven't destroyed the evidence yet. Bryce, I will hope, will stay closely involved with WFO, and we wish him well. Finally, Chris Swarth. Chris is the grandson of Harry S. Swarth. We name our top award for excellence in publications after his grandfather. Chris jumped in and has helped in so many ways. The most visible way was editor of the newsletter you've seen. And his issues, his fall issue will be the last. Please extend your thanks for that and for bringing us to such a good place. Judith Dunham, longtime WFO member, will take over for him, and Chris will help her along the way. We're anticipating by the end of the year, Judith's first issue, though the date not certain yet. Chris self-published his grandfather's trip to southeast Arizona from Pasadena, where they got blocked by snow in San Gorgonio Pass in March. Another world then, wasn't it? And during that expedition, the first and only bumblebee hummingbirds were taken in the Ramsey Canyon vicinity in the Huachuca Mountains. In that year, in the late 1800s, the 1890s, formerly known then as Heloise's hummingbird, unrecorded in the United States since then. And Chris is hard at work now. Perhaps it's done on publishing his grandfather's unpublished material from Southeast Alaska, and perhaps of British Columbia as well. I'm not certain. I'm sure Chris will let us know, and we'll hope, certainly WFO will keep you appraised of this publication soon to come out. We have one officer retiring, Suzanne Kuroda. Suzanne, most of the members know by their interactions with her. She's been here nearly 7 years, since November 1st, 2014. And she will be greatly missed, but she felt it was time to move on. I know, personally speaking, she's been absolutely indispensable for me in keeping me organized. I am deeply grateful and profoundly will miss her, but wish her well in her future activities. I'd like at this point to turn things over to Andy. And Andy, you'd like to speak about Birdathon, and I thank you for all of your efforts on that, getting us started. And it's our first ever Birdathon event. Andy?
All right. Well, thank you, John. And not to be outdone, there is my Flickr. And
Go, Andy.
Hi, everybody. And thank you all for being here and for your generous support at WFO. Like all of you, I have been so enjoying all the talks and workshop sessions of this virtual conference. The quality of the programs by our presenters has been just so impressive. This is WFO's first virtual conference, of course, but I trust that you've all become aware of another first-time WFO event that's about to unfold. We've been talking about doing this for years, but it took a pandemic to finally bring this around. And with that, let me bring up my screen share. Boom. There you are, announcing the 2021 WFO Birdathon, and the Pileated has landed. I call your attention to the beautiful illustration of pileated woodpeckers that John Schmidt did for us. John was specially commissioned by our John to perhaps do an illustration for our Birdathon this year, our first ever Birdathon. And John graciously accepted the commission, but ungraciously refused any remuneration whatsoever for doing it. And not only did he provide this beautiful illustration for our use, but he also donated the original art to us. You'll all have an opportunity to acquire this original piece of art next year at the Reno conference, when we are going to auction this off in some special fashion. So there you go. You can be looking forward to that opportunity. The question becomes, why a Birdathon, and why this year? Our virtual format and the pandemic considerations just didn't allow for WFO-sponsored birding excursions during this year's conference. And that was a crying shame, because we all really enjoy going off on our morning birding trips during the conference with all of our wonderful WFO trip leaders, something that was a real highlight of all my conference experiences in past years. But we weren't going to give this all up without a fight. And so the board started thinking about, how can we do this? How can we incorporate birding back into the conference? And we came up with the answer. The very first ever WFO Birdathon became a thing, and it seemed like a very obvious choice. Why a Birdathon? Well, there were a number of reasons, and it was conceived to address three special things. First of all, it would encourage WFO members to go out in the field in a safe and responsible manner to see some real birds and enjoy nature in an official WFO sanctioned event tied in with our conference. So that seemed like a good idea. Secondly, very conveniently, it would also be an opportunity to raise some much needed money to support the continuation and possible expansion of a number of programs that WFO sponsors that ultimately benefit the birds that are essential to the health of our planet and that so much enrich our daily lives. So those were the two big reasons, but there was a third reason, and that was this. You know, we all really needed another T-shirt, and this was our wonderful opportunity to have a T-shirt that featured this iconic species, the pileated woodpecker. John Schmidt did this illustration for us, refused any remuneration for doing it. And we incorporated it into this T-shirt, which is now available for all of us to purchase and wear and enjoy for years to come. It's available on the Birdathon website. It's available in different colors and styles, and and of course, all the different sizes. So we encourage you to go to the Birdathon website and pick up your T-shirt, as well as register for the Birdathon. What is this Birdathon all about, and how can you participate? It's really about supporting WFO and having fun. Most of us have participated in Birdathons in the past, and this format should be very familiar to all of us. We wanted to keep it simple. We didn't try to reinvent this wheel. We've created a Birdathon link on the WFO website that provides all the information you need to be a part of the 2021 WFO Birdathon, our first ever. You can participate as a team leader, as a member of a team out there in the field, seeing birds and reporting them back to headquarters here. Or if you're not able to get out in the field and be a member of a team, be a team leader, that's fine. You can still be a very valued participant by being a donor, a sponsor to a particular team, or to a number of teams, or to the Birdathon in general. The website is developed to be a simple point and click kind of thing to help you get registered and participate. And it begs the question from all of you, I think you're probably wondering, how do I find the Birdathon website? And I'm glad you asked that question. I am going to stop sharing right now and pass the baton over to Jen, who will show us exactly how to maneuver to that. Go ahead,
All
Jen.
right, thank you. So I'm going to take us over to the Western Field Ornithologist website. Can everyone see that? Y'all can? Okay, wonderful. And I'm going to move these windows around so that I can see. So the Birdathon is, if you scroll down a little bit here on the website, you're going to see this become a part of WFO's first ever Birdathon. And you can click on that to find out more, which takes you to the Birdathon website. And it has all of the information that you could possibly want all right here. There's a summary of what we're doing and why. We're trying to raise $25,000. That's a lot. It has a link about how to participate. And the different ways that you can participate are by leading a team or being on a team. You can be a donor, or you can make a pledge, which would be a certain amount per species that would support a team. You can see all the different teams that are playing, and you can go to them and take a look at them and see the people who are on that team. There's their pictures there. And, find out a little bit about them. And then if you want to make a donation to support that team, you can click on support with a donation or support with a pledge. And the difference between the two, the donation asks for your credit card right away and you pay a flat amount. If you click on pledge, then you say how much per species you would like to pledge. And those are in whole dollar amounts. Okay, that's meeting the teams. There's a resource page for team leaders. So if you are a team leader or you're on a team, you can read all about the things that you need to do to be on a team and how to log in your information. And you can go to the t-shirts and art page. You can order a shirt. It comes in this color design on several different light colors of shirt. I think there's gray, white, yellow. There's a few different options. You can get this shirt, which is on black, comes in long sleeve, short sleeve, and ladies sizes, or you can even get it in red. And I think this is so striking on these shirts. I really love it. So if you are interested in participating in the Birdathon, I hope you will. I also wanted to show you could become a team leader by clicking on create a Birdathon team right there on the first front page there. And we'll help you to make your team page. We'll do all the things for you and make that super easy for you. So thank you so much. Very happy to let you know all about this.
All right, thank you, Jen. And you can see how easy this is for everybody to participate. So we urge you to get to the WFO website and check out the Birdathon link. Um, while you're there, don't forget to order your t-shirt. We're going to have a team leader meeting on Tuesday evening for those that have already signed up to be team leaders for the Birdathon. To give you a quick update, at last count, we already have 9 teams registered. So we haven't even officially begun the Birdathon yet. That doesn't start until September 1st. However, we've got 9 teams already registered, many more to come. We've already got 50 donors who have made Birdathon donations through our website, totaling about $5,000 to date. So things are working well. I should mention that all the WFO board members have already pledged to either lead a Birdathon team out in the field or join a Birdathon team. That includes John, John, and or alternatively to donate to support the efforts of other Birdathon teams being led by WFO members. So there you go. We're going to be starting all this on Wednesday, September 1st, going for 45 days. So Birdathon teams will pick one day in that 45-day window to go out and do their birding and report their results in through the website. And our goal is to raise $25,000. We think we can do that. And I hope you'll join us in this effort. So let's go birding and have some fun. And there you go. I think that's it. We'll send it back to you, John, unless there are any questions that somebody might have.
Well, let me move on while the questions come in, Andy.
Okay.
And I'll just say that a little word on John. He's an illustrator for many field guides, and particularly on raptors, but I'd say several hundred, at least a few hundred of the illustrations in the 7th edition of the National Geographic Guide are John Schmidt's. And he's been an absolute pleasure to work with a long interest in ornithology. And I'll just add on the Birdathon, it's our first effort. But the fundamental, no matter what we raise, the primary goal is to enjoy ourselves, have fun, and hopefully raise some money for WFO, no matter what we raise. It's a trial. Next year, no doubt it'll come back and there'll be refinements. But I hope it'll be a rewarding experience for all. I think with that, I'm going to turn things over to the chair of the nominations committee, John Harris, to take us through what we need to do as an organization by our bylaws to elect new board members and officers. John?
Thank you, John. Generally speaking, we present the slate of new candidates at our annual meeting in person and elect them by acclamation at our banquet. So, oh, something's happening here. Oh, there we go. Of course, we can't do it exactly that way in the virtual format. So instead, what we'll do is I'll tell you about the 2 candidates just a little bit, and then Jen has created a simple poll to which you can answer the question whether you approve the slate of candidates or not. So I think many of you have probably done polls having to do with bird identification and so on. So this is probably a pretty familiar process. Our nominations committee has 2 nominees to present. They are Robin Leong and Don Marsh. John already mentioned that Don is a board member on the Colorado Field Ornithologist and has already begun acting as a liaison between our 2 organizations. Don is retired from the technology industry and has many skills that are useful to us on the board and with our conferences. I met Don through the Central Valley Bird Club and Central Valley Bird Symposium, where he was an invaluable field trip leader and tech support person during that organization's conference. So I'm looking forward to working with Don on the board. Robin Leong is familiar to many of you, a longtime WFO member, board member with American Birding Association, very active with Napa Solano Audubon, author of Birds of Napa County, Birds of Solano County. He has actually been working with us on the board on the outreach and fundraising committee over the past year. So we're happy to have Robin with us. So Jen, I think we can go ahead with the poll and ask the members to vote for our slate of candidates.
I'm launching the poll, and it has just one question on it. Do you approve the candidates or do you not? And I'm launching it now. And I'm watching the data come in. Any last votes? Want to make sure that we get everyone that wants to vote. I see that we have about 78 people in the room, so we could see a few more people. Okay, John, it looks like we've got 78% participating. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll if that's all right with you.
That's fine.
And now I'm
I
going
see
to
one thing, CVET won't let me vote, but that's okay.
You're a panelist.
All right.
Me too.
And there I am. I think I'm sharing the poll results, which show a resounding yes.
Okay, thank you, Jen. I have a few other announcements I'd like to make regarding the conference. And also, I wanted to remind people that we recently had our first bird photography contest. This was a concept developed and implemented by Tom Blackman, former president and board member. And on the Western Field Ornithologist website, the results of our first bird photography contest are presented. And I thought maybe I'd ask Jen to just quickly show you where that is. And while she's doing that, I'll just tell you that the winner of the contest was Richard Cabe, who had a beautiful photograph of a light morph northern fulmar photographed off of St. Lawrence Island. And the runner-up was a new member, Susan Cook, with a photograph of a mallard hen with her chicks lined up.
Okay, so on the WFO website again, you can see if you come down that summary page a little bit, just underneath the Birdathon, there is the WFO photo contest winners. And if you click that, it should take you to photo contest winners. And there we go. I'm going to move this window so we can see. Where are the winning photos? Well,
I would urge people to go and look at these directly on their own. I'm not sure. Anyway, so thank you, Jen. And I think this is something we'll probably continue to do on into the future. And thank you to Tom Blackman for organizing that. A couple of quick announcements about the conference. First of all, Bryce's presentation yesterday that had the technical problems has been moved into the Sunday science session that starts at 3:30. So if you were one of those who was watching that and wanted to see that completed, please attend that session at 3:30 tomorrow. The remaining sessions today include a workshop to be given by Hannah Floyd on iNaturalist. That'll be our next program at 5 o'clock. And then our evening program will be Nathan Piblo's Sound ID Challenge, a familiar program to anyone who's attended the recent in-person conferences. So I think, John, that's about it for me.
Can I ask John, the officers are elected within the board. Do we need an election for the officers?
Well, according to the bylaws, the officers, no, I don't think we need to do that this time.
Okay, very good. Then I'll just announce that the officers, Liga Ozens Worcester was reelected by the board as recording secretary. Replacing Suzanne Carotto will be Sean Wild, who Suzanne is very carefully training. And that's been going on for quite some time. And she will be taking over for good in a couple of months. But Suzanne will be there to help, especially with the year-end financials and things like that. And then, of course, John continues on another year as VP, and I will as president. And then next year, John becomes president and I become past president. I thought I would announce now the full board as Matthew Bauman, Wendy Beers, Kimball Garrett, Susan Gilliland, Karen Havlina, Robin Leong, Don Marsh, Andrew Morrow, Christy Nelson, Bryce Robinson, Bryce is retired, sorry, and Diane Rose. I'd also like to call out a couple of others. Philip Unit is our editor of Western Birds. Give him a big warm thank you. He's been the editor of Western Birds, by my count, 35 years. And when you consider our entire history, we've had just two editors, Alan M. Craig for 16 years and Phil for 35. Robert E. Gill, a former board member, heads up special publications and monographs. We've had 5, I believe is the correct number, of special publications, including Rare Birds of California. And I was just wanted to call out one of our publications, recent ones, is by Jay Shepard on the LeConte's Thrasher. This was number 2. The Rare Birds didn't count. And in our earliest, it's all a life history of the LeConte's Thrasher. And I just point out an early article in California Birds by Jay Shepard. And then nearly half century later, Jay publishes his monograph. Jay is now in Maryland. It includes this early article in California Birds with his pictures based on his studies around Maricopa. So this tells us a few things with Phil and Jay. There's a loyalty element of people with their membership to our fine, in my opinion, organization. And I know I joined when I was 15, and we have members that are that age and younger, and it's essential that we continue passing the torch on to our younger members, many of whom I believe will be brilliant scientists and also will remain members of WFO and contributors. Now, finally, Timothy Britton is our webmaster, Tim Britton, and is very important in keeping our website up to date. So I believe that's what I wanted to say today. I believe we have a bit of time to take some questions. Am I right on that, Jen, in terms of the timing for the membership? Otherwise, you'll have more time to prepare for dinner, an early dinner.
We do have time. If you have questions, please put them into the Q&A part of Zoom, and we'll handle any questions that come in. I guess there are no mysteries.
Oh, the Thule Goose. That's the,
No mysteries about
Like-
members.
for listening through the boring part of the meeting. It's, we are short one board member. It is possible we'll come back to you if we find an indispensable person that comes along. We have 13 board members. The past president votes in ties. So unless somebody abstains, Kurt will not be voting. Because we have and hopefully 13 won't be an unlucky number.
John, we do have a question that just popped up.
Good.
Hank Ingersoll would like to know, when is the conference in 2022?
John Harris, do you have that handy? It's in late August. I have it.
Yeah. No. It's in September. It's September 8th through 11th.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
Okay. In Reno. Ed Pandolfino did a lot of work setting up the field trips, many of which are in place. I know Don is going to be instrumental, Don Marsh, in helping on that, as John Harris will be the conference chair. Thank you, John, in advance. And that's a very interesting time of the year in migration, including at Lake Tahoe for migrants, but also things like Sabin's Gulls turn up at the north end, lots of common terns, and September is a great month to be out and birding in any event. Nothing further to comment on, or I think we're good then. Shall we close to have a bit more time? Our next event, what is at 5?
Yes. 5 o'clock, we'll have an iNaturalist workshop with Hannah Floyd, which should be absolutely wonderful.
Sure it will. Her talk before was riveting, and brilliantly executed. So I guess we'll end the meeting, and thank you all for attending and making us, enabling us to follow our bylaws by voting. Thank you.
Thank you.